this was something and you had to be put out there, but information was released on that day, as you know. The headlines for the paper and the news were, LSMPD sergeant arrested for, what was it, assault charges, and it was similar to, one of the guys we arrested before, who did a very similar thing with a guy on a motorcycle, and that's all everyone knew. They only knew police sergeant had someone off a bike and was put to jail for it. Now, what I don't believe was released that day was who we were actually in pursuit of. So let me run you back a couple of months. We'll go back to April. This was during my time as a detective sergeant with the Los Santos Bureau of Investigation, and it all started with it was a vehicle fire under the casino, but some guy ended up breaking in, and there was kidnapping involved as well. This case went on for a couple of months into July. I worked that case with a couple of my co-workers. It took us a while to identify who this killer was. This guy had been attacking people. He shot up a playground, not even a couple blocks from here. He was a very dangerous individual. And I was tracking him for months, trying to get him. And even at the time when he was apprehended, I wasn't a detective sergeant. I was still able that day to keep investigating, keep trying to find him. The guy's name is, ironically, Jesus Christ, or Christ, however he wanted to pronounce it. I discovered his location that day in Blaine County. He was able to make his way down to Los Santos, where the LSMPD pursued him, myself being primary most of it. He fled in a sports bike, and he was going, I will say, ridiculous amount of speeds through city traffic, and it was ridiculous. You should have saw it. We cornered him in Davis and Carson Avenue area. I was in my patrol car. He zoomed by me. He went into an alleyway and went up some stairs. I made the decision with my patrol car to go over into the opposite alleyway and try and cut him off. And this is where the incident happened. He came out of a fence, or a gate, I should say. He was stuck on that gate, and I ended up swerving my vehicle towards him, and I made contact with him. He came flying off the bike, and the bike blew up and started a fire. At the time, my head was spinning. I wasn't thinking. I got out and took this guy into custody. I mean, going through me was a lot of emotions. There was rage, a lot of anger towards this guy, but it didn't really. I did have a lot of anger towards this guy. I mean, I wouldn't have did what I did with just a normal fleeing subject, I will admit. But it wasn't a personal thing. It was because what he did and what he stood for. So when I took him into custody, I was that was the only thing I cared about, and that was the only thing I cared about that day, was just getting that guy, because we've lost him too many times. So, Jesus Christ was the guy I was tracking that day. He's a serial killer, arsonist, um, and he had the tendency to kidnap people and kill their pets and stuff like that. Which really bothered me when I went to jail, and nobody knew who this guy actually was. I mean, he was all over the news as well, before the incident happened. Everybody was looking for him, and I just caught him the wrong way, and I did take responsibility for it, but I was quite angered at the department that that wasn't released about why I did it or who this guy was, because I can see more understanding that way, I'm sure. And I mean, I know a few guys, a few cops, I've heard from them, told me, you know, you did the right thing and stuff, but because I know a lot of people agree, but
You believe that the ends justify the means?
what was that, sorry?
Do you believe that the ends justified the means?
I mean, honestly, yeah.
I mean, in simple terms, if you were given the opportunity to do it again exactly the same way, would you?
Now, that's a different question. I mean, having knowing what I went through and knowing what I could go through, no, I wouldn't have. I would have did it some other way, but there is a lot of regret in what I did, but there's also a part of me that's thankful that he was taken down that day, because who knows, if I didn't stop him, he could have gotten away and killed like 5 more people, maybe more. You just don't know.
So, I understand that it was the department that made the decision that the use of force that you had taken that day was unjustified, which is what led to the assault charges being filed. How do you feel that decision was made by the department you were serving in?
I mean, I completely understood. I mean, I arrested a guy, one of our guys, for the same thing, and but you don't. I was pissed at them. I mean, I didn't actually physically or verbally show it. Um, I felt betrayed, but I understand actions had to be taken, and I mean, I just complied, because what else could I do, man? I mean, it was it was a tough time to see people that have looked up to me for a while, and for a department I've served so long in, just to have it all thrown away by that, and having them actually bring me down. If that makes any sense.
Consider taking action against the department for this? Having an independent review board look at your case?
No, um, and I don't plan on it. I don't want to. It is what it is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm here talking with you now. I mean, the media's gonna know this anyway. I don't know. Who knows? The department may get in touch with me. They may be pissed off. I'm not too bothered. Um, I pleaded guilty on my charges. As I said, I accepted what I did was wrong. Um, but you know, as I told you, there was a lot of parts of it that felt right.
You don't mind me asking, what charges did they get you with?
There was second-degree assault and careless driving.
So they gave you a felony.
Yep.
An otherwise unblemished career with the department?
Yep. Yes. I served in the department for just over a year at that point, which doesn't sound like a long time, but it is here. Um, but no, I had a pretty clean record before. I was, you know, not in any trouble at all.
You'd had no use
Criminally,
of force kind of problems, Brian?
no, no. And yeah, I've been in a lot of use of force incidents, and none of them have been marked unjust or questions, apart from that one.
How would you say this has affected you personally? Obviously, you spoke about losing your job, the jail time, but how else has it affected you?
It's been pretty rough. Um, my family are in the military. Um, my wife's like she's high ranking in the Marine Corps, and my son's off in the army. Um, I haven't had a lot of support. It has
Lonely
been rough.
experience.
You could say so. It's been really hard to find jobs as well, as you can imagine. Not a lot of um jobs of my interest hire felons, especially ex-police felons. And I mean, even being out in the street, which I don't go out a lot, just the looks and sometimes the comments can be pretty rough.
How was your experience within the prison itself? Obviously, that can't have been easy, serving time alongside people that I'm sure you put away. Away.
I mean, I was, you know, separated from Gen Pop, but it was still, it doesn't matter, it's still pretty rough. Good. I mean, just being in there was just horrible. It didn't feel right at all, and it made me rethink a lot of things. I put a lot of guys away, and it just made me rethink my whole career. You know, it's hard. It's easy putting people away, but then when you're actually in there, it's so much different. You realize, could I let that go? You know, did I have to throw them into this hellhole?
Do you feel reformed? Do you think our system is actually built for reformation, or do you think it's meant for incarceration and punishment?
I I don't feel reformed that much. It really I really do um, think it is punishment and incarceration, as you said. It's a pretty rough time up there. I honestly just felt punished, even even the staff and fellow inmates, which I can understand. Um, no one likes a cop in prison, but yeah, God, it was rough.
Did the guards treat you any differently compared to other inmates? They have a special kind of hatred towards you.
There was there was really a half and half. There were comments. There was nothing physical, but there were comments behind my back into my face. There, some guards showed respect. I don't know if they were just being good at their job or they were respecting me. I'm honestly not sure. I'm not gonna say that I was respected in there. I mean, I didn't want to be. I wasn't looking for that at all. But it was really a confusing time as well. I didn't know how people were thinking. I didn't know how people outside of the prison were thinking. You know, I don't know if I was being praised. Well, obviously not, but you know what I mean. It's a strange world. But I didn't know what people were saying about me. I didn't know what was going on. It was a rough time.
Do you think that this experience has changed you as a person?
Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah. As I said, yeah, I'm unemployed. I can barely go outside. Um, it took a lot to actually come and sit here. and talk to you, but I know it had to be done. I had to say something about it. It's really it's been building up. So yeah, no, definitely, it's
How do you feel about the department's conduct during this time?
like the way they handle things.
Yeah, obviously, as I'm sure you're aware or would have found out, the news story was given to us before your arrest technically went public.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty quick. Um, I don't. I mean, they were. It was the chief and another high-ranking member of the department that did it with me privately, which I respect. I don't believe any cop should be booked in front of their co-workers. Nor do I think any person should be, you know, arrested in front of people unless you're necessary. But um, the way they handled it, it was professional enough. But I don't know. I had mixed feelings. I don't know if they I don't want to say I don't know if they enjoyed it. I don't know if they really regretted it. I mean, it sucks putting money your own away, but the, to me, there must have been some sort of satisfaction in there. I mean, you're arresting you're arresting one of your own that did a bad thing, and to me, to me, that would give me, I guess, some, how do I say it, some pride that we're not as a police chief. We're like I wouldn't be totally ignoring actions of my own. So I don't know if they. The other time I'm saying I don't know how they really felt about it. They were really blank and monotone with everything they're saying. I really couldn't get any emotion at all from them. But I tried not to pry or anything. I just kind of. My hope of sharing my side. I mean, my hope is to be recognized and no, I'm not looking for publicity. So say I've had enough of that, but just I want my story to be told, and I want the story of that day to be told for people that didn't quite get the full message, which is quite a lot of people.
For us today,
Um, for anyone that's wanting to get into law enforcement or the police department, it can be a very rewarding job, and can also be extremely dangerous.